And the South African billionaire family, popularly known as Oppenheimer, has acquired a controlling stake in one of Nigeria's prominent can makers, that's GZ Industries. The acquisition was completed by Jonathan Oppenheimer, one of the sons of the second richest man in Africa, that's Nicky Oppenheimer, who reportedly secured a full control of GZ Industries Limited. Well, in the past 10 years, we've seen some major exits of multinational companies. Let's get a sense of what to expect and other matters in the Nigerian economy. Joining us now for that conversation is Kelvin Emmanuel, CEO. Derry Hills, great to have you, Kelvin.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Ladi.
Fantastic. So, as I said there, in the last 10 years, we've seen some major companies, exit Nigeria, the likes of GlaxoSmithKline, Tower, and other top brands. Talk to us about the significance of this acquisition of GZ Industries. Why now?
Well, to be honest with you, I think it's very strategic, and the reason is because aluminum cans, aluminum roofing sheets are made from petroleum coke, which is a derivative of refining crude oil. So it is very timely that at the eve of when Nigeria is going to get back to actually refining petroleum coke in commercial quantities, because petroleum coke is actually 4% of 179 liters per barrel of derivatives gotten when you refine crude oil. And that a South African billionaire has decided to invest in one of the largest makers of aluminum cans for the beverage makers across West Africa, GZ Industries. And Ladi, if you pay attention, you realize that beverage cans are one of the reasons why the cost of soda drinks has actually gone up. Apart from the SSB tax on sugary drinks, beverage can is one of the major reasons why the cost of the drinks has gone up. Because apart from sweeteners that a lot of the beverage makers are moving to from sugar, the other major cost for canned drinks is actually beverage cans. And the fact that, Naira has been dropping and the pet coke that is used for making beverage cans in Nigeria is actually imported, the cost of soda drinks has actually gone up. And it's strategic because, South Africans have always seen opportunities. In 2001, Kuzbeka sent a scout to China and invested in Ponima's company called Tencent. About 22 years later, Tencent is one of the largest companies in China. And Tencent has made Naspers, which is a company Kuzbeka runs, a South African billionaire, one of the largest companies in the world. They own shares in MTN, they own shares in ShopRite, they own shares in several other companies, even in MultiChoice, that Nigerians are well familiar with, Naspers. So it's a call that in the midst of the difficulties Nigeria has, and in the midst of the tough macroeconomic conditions that we have inflation, food inflation at 31.1%, headline inflation at 27.3%, risk-free rate is over 20%. In the midst of all these difficulties, commercial bank lending rate is anywhere between 30% and 33% today. There are opportunities that exist, even if for Nigerian businesses, it's difficult for them to do business in an environment where they're having to pay commercial lending rate at over 30% and they're having to raise corporate bonds or commercial papers at between 18 and 20%. And foreign capital is cheaper. Foreign capital is cheaper because the rates are usually single digits where the funds are coming from. And they only have to battle with the fact that they have to understand the market cycles to see how to not have the external risk of devaluation of the currency exceed the internal rate of returns from doing business in Nigeria.
All right, so, at a time where we're seeing, rising cost of doing business, we're seeing inflation, all-time high, the Naira is under pressure at this time. Companies still, struggling to, get most of their dollars, out of the country at this time. Would you say Warren Buffett's slogan is what's playing out here, buy when the market is fearful? Is that what it is?
Absolutely. The slogan says, buy when there's blood on the streets and then sell when everybody gets to too confident in the market. I think this is the right time to invest in Nigeria, even if I would say CBN's net reserves are net negative, and they've not been able to clear out 100% of the outstanding forwards for commercial letters of credit, commercial capital and dividend remittances, and Form A. But there's blood on the streets, and investors are afraid, rightfully so. But I'll tell you that it's cheaper to get into Nigeria right now because of the weak naira. And this is the time to invest, because in terms of especially enterprise manufacturing, where I see the most opportunities, there are opportunities opening up. The fact that refiners are going to start producing polypropylene and polyethylene crystals, which are derivatives of petrochemical feedstock. And those crystals are used for everything from rubber, plastic, containers, resins, dye, and pipes. It's an opportunity for industries that are going to emerge in Nigeria, industries that don't have to rely on importing these products, looking for commercial letters of credit from banks to import these raw material inputs to be able to produce. So to be honest with you, I think this is an opportunity, and this is a time for companies to bring in capital and invest in the real sector, and invest in enterprise manufacturing especially, that is made it difficult for companies like JSK and Sanofi and a few other companies to operate in Nigeria, considering that their supply chain is exposed to import of raw materials.
All right, you heard it there from Kelvin. This is the best time to invest in Nigeria right now. But let's take a look at some other matters now. We did see the central bank says it will freeze accounts without a bank verification number, BVN, or national identification number, that's a NIN, from April 2024. Talk to me, is this something to be cheery about at this time?
To be honest with you, I wonder why they took so long to say they are going to freeze accounts, considering that there are 133 million bank accounts in Nigeria and only 59 million have BVN. And when I did the numbers, that came to around 30.4 or 30.5 accounts on an average per account holder. So for me, I think it's important because in terms of financial inclusion, in terms of the security of the financial system, the infrastructure that was built by Nigerian Interbank Payment and Settling System, and how that layer works across the financial and banking sector in Nigeria, it's very critical that all accounts have BVNs. And it's also very important that the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria works with the Nigerian Identity Management Company, NIMC. Until now, other than for security purposes, I don't see the use of national identification number. It's good that the Nigerian Immigration Service has actually, inculcated your NIN to passport. So if you don't bring your NIN, the immigration will not process passports for you. But other than the security infrastructure of Nigeria, it's important that the NIN is integrated into the BVN. And the NIN is also spread across your permanent voter's card to avoid duplication within the system. So for example, if a security agency pulls up one central number, like your BVN, for example, they should be able to get every information that is regarding to that person across lines. So for me, I think it's very critical to create an extra level of financial security, and also bringing the BVN and NIN together will ensure that you're able to get all the other non-banking financial institutions across the rural areas to see that they can pull them into the financial system, and raise financial inclusion in Nigeria. But giving a deadline and ensuring that every account in Nigeria is connected to BVN is also a means to prevent money laundering, to deepen the work of the financial regulators, and also improve financial inclusion. So I think it's a good move, albeit it's coming later than I expected that they would have done it.